Hello! So today I want to show you how I planned the month in my bullet journal, so hopefully you'll get some ideas how to do it yourself and what might work for you. Of course, if you haven't yet, please do subscribe and like this video. I'd like this to reach more people and they say this helps. I'm too new to know. In my previous video, I've introduced you to the idea of bullet journal, what kind of notebook you could use and which one is best for what kind of person, and what I use to write and draw with. There we've also set up our yearly plan, but now let's set up our monthly. Here I'm setting up my January plan, but you could totally use the penguin theme for February as well. It's still cold outside. Whenever possible, that means whenever I have the time, I love to do a cover page for the month. It's the least important part of the bullet journal. It's totally optional, but it's such a nice excuse to do some art and maybe get into planning mode. It gives you the time to set your goals and think about your priorities for the month. If you don't like painting, you could just stick on some cutouts or stickers or a page from a magazine. And if you don't like to do lettering, you could use rub-on letters or stamp them. Do whatever works for you. Painting is optional. I haven't painted the whole first year of my bullet journaling. The paper in my notebook was so thin that it would never handle the paint, so I only used colored pencils from time to time, and it still worked. If you like to use watercolors though, like I do here, go ahead. Test them on a page first if you're afraid your paper might buckle too much, but paper is actually surprisingly sturdy. You just can't scrub your thin paper with your paintbrush or you'll ruin it. But nice gentle stroke is usually fine, even on copy paper. It buckles, of course, but it will flatten a bit when you close your bullet journal and keep it closed for a while. This paper here is not watercolor paper by any stretch of imagination, and it still kind of works, as you can see. Don't be afraid to try, it's literally just paper. I drew a pencil sketch first, and then I painted over it with basically just two colors, Payne's gray and the light blue is cerulean blue. I'm painting everything mainly in just one layer because this paper can't handle much water, and I'm just putting some shades as I go on the first layer. Here I made a mistake and you see me correct it with some clean water and the tissue paper. And now let's move on to painting some more penguins. Now the adult penguins are typically black and white with this yellow underneath their chin for this particular species, but the younger ones are light gray and become darker gray when they get older. That's why I'm painting in them like this. And if I want to make them more fluffy, if I had a better paper, I would paint wet on wet, so the edges would be a bit more fuzzy. I don't want to make them all the same color though, so I change the consistency of my gray. Sometimes I put a bit more of Payne's gray into my mix and sometimes I put more water. It's as simple as that. And for the eyes, I just dry brush a bit of blue underneath their feet. This set is Van Gogh's student grade pocket traveling set, and I like it because of its size and portability, but the quality is better in Schminke, I think. These two colors are all that is needed for the penguins on the snow. But once I get to paint the bubbles, I like to add some variants with other shades of blue, a tiny bit of ultramarine and mainly some Prussian blue. I chose circles for the days in the monthly and in the weeklies because I like circles and they're kind of wintery, with all the snowballs, parts of snowmen, ice balls that I desperately want to make one winter, even snowflakes are many times represented by tiny circles. And the 8th of January is Bubble Bath Day that we all enjoy in the winter the most, so it just seemed appropriate. When I started to write a post about monthlies, as we call monthly spreads, I was sure there will not be much to write about. I had a feeling like I'm doing the same spread that everybody is also posting rows of days of the week on double spread page. But when I actually looked at my old bullet journals to take the pictures, I was surprised to see that there are quite a lot of different variations, and I've tried quite some. I do like this one the most though. The double page spread gives me enough space for each day, and it also leaves some space at the side for the notes or to do this month list. It also looks cute with some decorations, especially if I skip the blank spaces and just start and end with the actual first and end day of the month, respectively. Some people would hate that though. For instance, my OCD friend who unstuck and restuck all the labels in the laboratory on the laboratory equipment because they weren't perfectly straight. Yeah, scientists, what can I say? Well, he would suffer with all the incomplete rows. That would be his personal hell, I think. So you do your jam. I like the extra space for decorations, but I do forget to start in the middle of the week more often than not. So if you do not plan in pencil first, you might need a corrector for those mistakes. Take a tip from one who's tried. But it's not so obvious in the end as you might thought, if you're not my friend, that is. Oh, and if you're interested in bullet journaling, I have a whole series on my blog because writing comes natural to me, unlike video editing. There you can read all about what kind of spreads are suitable for what kind of people, and there are many examples as well. I didn't want to put up a slideshow here, so I filmed the setup of a page to make it a bit more dynamic, and maybe somebody could also learn how to paint a penguin. If you're interested, I'll make a video about how to draw one. Speaking of which, do let me know what would you like to see on this channel. I make a lot of things and people always tease me about it. My friends always tell me, what is that you don't do? Because I'm really a pretty curious creature and I can adapt quite a bit. Here you can see me writing just the initials of the days of the week, and that's one way to do it. Of course, you could write the whole day of the week as I did on some other spreads, or you could stamp the initials, or you could just leave them alone or just write the dates. It's totally up to you. Here I'm again painting my penguins, and I usually start with black because then it's easier to transition to lighter colors. I know that's not how you're supposed to do it, but I've got a good practical reason for it. While I have still some black on my brush, I just add more water to it and becomes this nice gray. So I don't waste any color and I don't have to rinse my brush. I'm curious, do you do bullet journaling? And if you do, what kind of themes do you use? Do you go seasonal or just whatever comes to mind? I found out that my best bullet journal spreads were the one where I just went on my own, depending on what was happening in my life at that particular time. And I still love those spreads the most. And what was your favorite theme? I'd love to know. Always curious and always on a search for ideas. Let me know in the comment down below. I'd love to read some original ideas. It's always nice to have a different kind of spread. You could choose a different theme for every week, but I prefer to choose one theme for the whole month and then explore different variations. It's just something I like to do. And here I'm showing you how I stamp the initials of the days of the week. It's really easy and quick way, and it can look great if you have nice stamps. This is my favorite layout this month, and in general, I love circle layouts, probably because I like circles a lot, but it's really practical for me. And I love this sleeping baby penguin. He was so cute in the reference picture, and I hope I captured some of that in this painting. So I'd like to encourage you to try using the material that you might wish to try, even though you might not have the best materials at hand, even though your journal might not be a watercolor journal. And I know that can be a controversial topic, and some artists say that you should always use artist grade materials, but I really don't think that's the case, especially if you don't have it. I think that some art in some kind of journal is still better than no art in any kind of journal. The painting might not look professional or realistic, but it could still look cute. Cute is a very nice style because you can make it with very limited materials, with very limited colors, and with very limited knowledge. Now, for the writing, I'm in no way a skilled calligrapher at all. But you will find out that you can fake it till you make it quite a lot here. And after all, it's just your bullet journal. It's not something that you will sell to people. What I like to do is just make all the downstrokes a bit fatter and the upstrokes a bit thinner. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I like to try different setups, monthlies and weeklies. And for weeklies, you really have a lot of setups. And I have a few pictures on my blog and on my Instagram where you can see the different layouts, because I also make a layout spread at the beginning of my journal, so that whenever I'm setting up a month, I can just consult my thumbnail idea page and find the one I haven't tried for a while and I might want to use. My preferred weekly layout, however, is this circular one, where I have the focus point, the decoration in the middle, and all the days of the week all around. I like to divide the spread into 8 parts, not just 7, because I like to have a part of a page for the weekly to-dos. But you could also divide your page into 6 parts and have one for each workday and one for the weekend. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to learn more about bullet journaling, head over to my blog, and I do hope to see you next week. See you then. Bye bye.